Okay, guys, we are ready to start. This is a video basically putting everything together, and you're basically just looking at pieces of paper, so I kind of apologize for that in advance, but I didn't really want to have the phone set up and then try to take it down and all that jazz. Just know that this is taking me a very, very, very long time to put together. And I know once it's all here, it may not look like it, but it's been literally weeks of research, finding out the best ways to tackle this many people, then having to change everything up because we can't do the Lyme protocol, and it's just been like a very, very long, arduous process, which I'm happy to do. That's not what I'm getting at. But what I'm saying is this did take me a long time, and so I need everybody to cooperate when I say I need your fingernails, that kind of thing, and I'll get to that in a moment. We're also going to go over the frequencies that you can pick and choose from after a certain date, and that I will explain that's where your work comes in. Okay, so let me just explain right now the very basics of how I put this together. Everybody is in a group. So group A, we have Isabella, Moira, Flannery, and Saoirse. Group B is Tim, Margot, Lila, and Corey. C is myself, Merida, Liam, and Nathan. D, we have Chris, Katie, Sarah, and Margot's mom. I didn't know her name, so sorry, Margot, but it's Margot's mom. And E is Jeremiah, Jedediah, Jonah, and Aubrey. And there was a reason I had put people together this way. I had papers and papers of people's names and trying to put them in groups and which groups were going to be good. And I was going to have everybody like specific set days. I'll show you what I did have where everybody, for every single Sunday, it was going to be group A and B, and then they would be again on Wednesday, A and B. And then C and D were on Mondays and Thursdays, and group E was assigned to Tuesdays and Fridays. And that seemed all well and good, except for the fact that when I went back over the additional recommended 41 frequencies, so there's 7 required. Like they're saying you can't do any other frequencies if you don't do these first 7. Okay, so then they have a recommended 41. Those recommended 41, when I read about them, they were saying basically they recommend you doing those before you try to address anything that you have long term. If you're dealing with a long-term problem, they're saying do these 41. However, you know, in the instructions, they say you can do 1 a day. So basically, if you do the 41 plus 7, that's 48. That's 48 days of doing one frequency after the other. We have 20 people, and that's not going to work. Doing it this way was going to literally take 48 weeks, which is almost a year. That's not going to work. I don't know about you. It's not going to work for me. I got issues. My kids got issues that I'm not willing to wait a whole year to start to address. So here's what I did. And I'll ask Jeremiah to help me with this because I don't know if I'm going to scan it or we're just going to computerize it, have a computer calendar or whatever. But today is the 11th. You all got your packages now, or you should have. Everybody has everything they need to start. And you have the little white circles to send me your fingernail clippings. So please get those to me ASAP. Like, you don't need to overnight them. I mean, we live in North Carolina. As long as you get them out right away, they should get to me. If you don't get them to me by whatever day you are assigned to, you're going to have to use the audio or the sticker. Because we are starting on the 19th, regardless of if you've given me your fingernails or not. Because to do the recommended 41 frequencies, it's going to take us to basically the middle of July, which I do. I'm glad I left this one in pencil. I started to color code them because for me, I'm going to have this on my wall, and I do have to like look at it each day to see who's in, the spooky remotes. We go on vacation in the beginning for July 4th, so we'll probably be gone, I'm assuming, possibly from Saturday through coming back on the 5th. I don't really know, but basically these are going to be erased and pushed forward. Okay, so anyways, group A and B is on the 19th, C and D, then E, and then A will be starting the next frequency. So this is frequency 1, everybody's doing 1, A will be So I have the different the remotes. The first group of 4 will be doing the frequency 1. I'll change them out, put A in, and do frequency 2. And then the next day, again, B and C are on frequency 2, D and E are in frequency 2, and then we start again with A. So this gets us done a whole lot faster than everybody on their assigned day. Now, up until April 6th, you can't do any other frequencies except for the ones that we're doing. You can, they say you only need to do this once. All these frequencies, they're saying from the first 48, they're saying you only need to do it once. However, many people have shown or proven that sometimes the repeats are good and are desired to do so. I'm going to leave that up to you guys, and this is where your work kind of comes in. I personally would recommend, obviously you're going to have, like I said, this calendar or some type of calendar given to you to let you know which days you're going to be on, because they're not assigned days. Okay, so here they only have, for A, group A only has the 1 day in between, but here they have 2 days in between. Okay, so after maybe this first run through of frequency 1, maybe they're on frequency 2, they're only going to be on frequency 2 this day, so maybe on one of these days they get the sticker for frequency 1 and put that in their pocket about 15 minutes before they're getting it ready for bed. Okay, hold on to it, wear it, whatever, for 15 minutes before bed. Make sure you take it out. Do not, under any circumstance, wear these stickers or listen to the frequencies overnight. Okay, you just end up with a massive headache. It's not like dangerous, it's just you're just gonna regret it. And then they don't have to do anything, on another day. And it really depends on how you all feel with these frequencies. Like, there might be some that made you feel great, others maybe not so great. But just because it didn't make you feel so great doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't do it again. It might mean you actually need to do it again. But this is where you get to play around with what's going to work for you. Now, again, for the first 7, there's nothing else that you can do except play around with the first 7. You can, if we're on frequency 2, please don't go to frequency 6 in here. Just either once we do the number 1, you can then start using the sticker for number 1. Once you've been zapped, I'm going to call this being zapped when you're in my spooky machine. When you've been zapped for number 2, you can now do either sticker 1 or sticker 2. Okay. Once you get to being zapped for number 3, now you can use sticker 1, 2, or 3. You don't have to use any. You can, again, if you feel like, wow, I really liked what number 2 did for me, I'm going to do number 2 again. Now you have, again, the 2 options, which would be the quickest and easiest options. The easiest one would be the sticker. You just put it in your pocket for, like I said, could be 15 minutes, could be an hour. It's up to you. Just play around with and see how you feel. Or the audio. Some of these audios run for just like 2 minutes. Some are for like 20 minutes. If you have a 2-minute one, you might want to put it on repeat for at least 15 minutes. Okay, the 20-minute one, you might want to just run through once and be done with it and see how you feel. So you have those 2 options. Obviously, there's other options like the foot bath and imprinting water, but I think that's kind of overboard, especially since we are trying to knock these out. Okay, so just again, if you're overwhelmed, don't do anything extra. But again, people have reported that doing these more than once, usually only a second time, maybe a third, it just depends. You might get further along and be like, wow, I really need that one for oxygenate, which I don't have them obviously named on here because there's only so much room. There's only so much writing I'm willing to do. There is a master list, and we're going to look at that in a minute. So once you get to here, April 6th, you can technically start working on any other issue that you have that's either in the spooky database or in the audio. Hold on one second. Hey, Merida, can you run and get my laptop for me, please? And I'm going to show you those options. Okay. Again, they say to, if you can, to wait to get through these, and maybe don't get through all of them. Again, we do have to wait till July, and I know some of you are in pain and you're not going to be wanting to wait until July. Okay. But just know that it might take longer, and that's fine. I mean, like, if you're in pain and you can address it now, and maybe it's going to take 2 months to get through whatever frequency set you want, or to, maybe it's going to take a couple weeks, maybe it's going to take a month, I don't know. And maybe that's double the amount of time, but clearly, you're going to be pain-free in, say, come May, as opposed to waiting until July and then starting the frequencies. And yeah, you might get done sooner with that pain frequency and be done, but then you'd be, that's putting you at the end of July if you waited to do all of these. So this is really where your own quote unquote homework comes in. Okay. I have a slew of people in my family, and some of them, being that they're adults, are going to have to kind of pick and choose what they want to address. I can try to recommend, let's put it this way, I will tell you what I plan on doing, and then but you guys go from there. We have some kids with cavities, so as soon as we're done with this, frequency 12 is for the teeth and gums, okay? So we might wait till the next week, let that run. And after that, though, for the kids who have cavities, I'm going to be giving them like the audio every day for so long. I'm going to give them, a foot bath every day for so long. Like, I'm going to try to knock those cavities out. Okay, so I'm not waiting until the end of July to do that. So again, you can start after the 6th addressing any other issues. But if you have a very long-standing issue, just know that it might take longer. Okay, so there is, and I'm going to have to send it to you a different way. I realized now, after I went to ask Jeremiah to print this out for me, that I gave you I didn't, what do you call it? I don't know. I gave you the link, but the link is on my computer and not on a website, so you can't access that. So I have to upload it or something like that. Send it in an email and attach a file. There we go, attach a file. This is the experimental frequencies A through Z. However, the person who made this they are repeated on some things, because, for example, they have a frequency for depression and anxiety. It's put together. So she put it under anxiety. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go, anxiety and depression. But then if you look under, and I blacked it out just because I don't need to have all these things, multiplied. If you come here under D for depression, right here, you can't really see it because I blacked it out, but it's depression and anxiety. It's the same exact one. Okay, she just wanted, because if people were more concerned about depression and they're looking for depression and they're not seeing what they want, it's because it was under the anxiety. So she went and did this alphabetical according to all the major things that were in here. There was one that was for oh gosh, your lymph, here we go, endocrine, lymph, thyroid, and adrenal. Okay, she literally has it listed here under endocrine. She also has it under L for lymph. She has it under the T, and she has it under the A. So I didn't need this 4 times on this list, so I crossed the other ones out in black. And then I realized that this whole crossing out or coloring out in black was taking me forever, so I just started drawing lines through things. There are some things in here that I personally am not going to use for my family. They are based on spiritual aspects that I do not feel safe using. So I cross those out. There are some things that we don't deal with, like muscular dystrophy. Okay, I cross those out. You will have a list sent to you. You get to cross out however you want to cross them out. And I've already spent a long time doing this. So again, I can't do this for everybody because I also don't know what everybody's exact issues are or what you want to start with or whatever. Now, so all the orange ones here are all the 48, the first 48 that we're going to go through. I will send that list to you specifically, not like this, because I don't want you to have to I will actually send you just a list, maybe in email or to Messenger, that has just the 48 in the order that we're going to do them. Okay? That way you know what's already going to be addressed. Because, for example, there's one for anxiety and depression and anxiety and PTSD. I know a lot of you guys have anxiety. So for you guys might want to keep rerunning those once you get to that number. Okay? again, this will be after the first 7, I believe. I should have done the first 7 in like a special color, but the first 7 are 1 through 6 and then number 44. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then number 44. So anything else that's orange that is not those numbers is somewhere like going on through the months. But again, if you have anxiety and you want to try to knock that out, you can do so sooner. But just know that the reason why they set it up the way they did was to address stress levels, basic bacterial, things that people would have. Like they're trying to hit all the basic things to give your body just that underlying kind of foundation so that everything else can kind of run more smoothly. So when you address something, the healing will go faster. Okay. Now, personally, for myself, and again, this is going to get into like what I plan on doing maybe, once we get past the day 6. I'm probably going to let my family go through quite a few of these before we start addressing some of their long-term issues. We have a son who has autism, and that is just not going to up and leave, when you start running things, because it's mostly based on heavy metals. And a lot of our issues are probably based on heavy metals as far as mental goes. But when I personally asked the creator of these frequencies about the heavy metal one, he said that because basically, so your body was originally designed to get rid of heavy metals. The problem is that we've kind of blocked up the pathways or the resources that are supposed to be used to get those heavy metals out. So he says if you just start running like heavy metals, like, after these first 7 frequencies, he says your body will have to use too much energy to do so. So as you're trying to do that, and I'm trying to run these other ones are not going to work, and probably the heavy metal one is not going to work as it's supposed to, because you need more, I think he said cell voltage. I don't know. It's all kind of, some of it's Greek to me, but I mean, I know what he's talking about. It's just like, obviously we don't have 5 hours to go through all this, but, and there's one for cell voltage, which is just, and I don't know which number it is. So probably once we get to that, maybe I'll start running him on the autism and the heavy metals. Okay. But think about, as you try to look this list and you're like, oh yeah, I want to address this. Oh yeah, I want to address that. Please remember, and that is your freedom to do so. Like, I'm not telling you that you have to do it this way. The only thing I say that you have to do is the first 7. After that, it's game. But again, these are the recommended. They're saying this is giving you a good foundation. After that, though, because they do hit some of your, they hit the lymph system, right? Because that was an orange. Think about your detox organs, which is your lymph, your liver, your kidneys, okay, maybe even bladder. See if they're addressed in orange. If not, then that's probably some of the ones you want to go through first, because if you can't detox properly, there's no really sense of trying to hit something else that your body's going to need to detox, okay? Then they have a bunch of them for your different organs, like spleen, pancreas, I think that, I don't know if I mentioned adrenals, okay, things like that. You're going to want to boost maybe those, okay? The idea of the frequencies and healing is from the ground up, okay? We all want to hit our big things, and trust me, I get it. I want to do that as well. I want to hit the mental illnesses and the autism and our gut issues and all that stuff. But true healing is going to start layer by layer by layer. And you're just going to get faster and better results if you do it that way. Okay? Gut would be a huge thing. So after you get some of your other organs boosted, because there's a correction, there's a balance, and I'm trying to see of where maybe it's going to, well, I'll be looking through here for a while. You can see there's just a ton of them, but there's just here we go, balance and normalize. Okay, there's a lot of them for your organs that is just for balance and normalize, so that it just, gets you back to where you're supposed to be, so your organs are working properly. So once you have that idea, pick and choose which ones you want to address, because again, I can't tell you exactly what to do or the best approach. you might start using something and then realize, you know what, you find something else, you want to use that. Like, these are just to play around with, and to see where you start feeling better. You might start addressing an issue and it's not really working. That doesn't mean those frequencies don't work. It just might mean your body is not in the position right now to address that issue. And you're going to have to think through kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg, you know, like, yeah, anxiety is an issue, but is it because your gut was unbalanced? Is it because there's an emotional trauma? And so we're going to go over the fact that that these are the frequencies in Spooky. These are the frequencies we're going to be doing, right, that are in orange, because they're on my Spooky machine. That's how you're going to get, quote unquote, zapped, okay? But he has, let me show you, I have to bring it up. He has just audio frequencies. And of course my computer's taking forever. Sorry guys. That's not the best thing. And this is one of those really long videos, but necessary because there's really no way around it. There we go, finally. Okay, so in your emails that I gave to you, I gave you his site. You can go on his site, hit shop, and hopefully this is coming out. I picked name A through Z. There's different options, prices. These are all, you would have to buy them, okay? Most popular, newest ones, whatever. I just picked A to Z. Now, when you scan down here, let me scan to show you. Here, you see it says Spooky 2. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Any of the ones that you see that have Spooky 2 in their name description means that it is on my machine. You do not need to purchase them. They're on the machine. Now, some people like to do audio and the Spooky. And if you want to be hit more and more, like, you're going to have the stickers. Maybe you don't find the stickers as useful. I don't know. I mean, everybody finds what they, you know, is useful. Some people say imprinting water is like, ooh, the best thing. Some people are saying taking a foot bath is like next to the best thing. You're going to have to find what works for you and what you can do, you know, what you can manage to do on a daily, not say daily, but regular basis. Other ones here, you see there's no Spooky in it. There's no Spooky name in it. That means I do not have it on my machine. Okay. So here's one for Spooky. Okay. That means I have that. Okay. Here's one for cell voltage. I do have some other cell voltages, but this one in particular he has, obviously is not on Spooky. Okay. You get the idea. And then there's literally 67 pages worth of these frequencies. So you're going to want to look to see what I have on my machine first. And then you're going to want to come through here and look to see what other things. Because, for example, there is no bipolar in my Spooky database. There's not one for bipolar. There is one, though, for, let me see if I can find it. There's one here on the audios. And of course, if you're looking for something specific, you can come up to a little magnifying glass. If my touch screen is not working right now, of course not. Okay, type in what you want. And here we have. Okay, so he has bipolar disorder, correction, and balance. Okay, there's one called Divine Healing Code, bipolar disorder. Yeah, I can talk. Disorder. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't have bipolar in its name. Maybe it has it somewhere in its thing, like it's in some of its frequencies, but clearly if you're looking for a specific issue, you know, you're going to want to go for like one of these. It doesn't have Spooky, it doesn't have the word Spooky on it, so, you know, it's not in my Spooky database. So in this case, we're going to have to order it, and that's fine. Like, I think I told you in another, maybe in an email or something, that we're going to be ordering some of these just for our family. So check with me before you buy any to see if we already got some. And if you have something that you're like, I absolutely have to address this now, let us know which ones you buy, because then maybe you can send us the audio for that and we can all kind of share. Now, Hopefully I'm making this as clear as possible. I'm sorry, there is a lot of information and there's no way I can get around that. So everybody's got their group. They've been assigned to. I will give you that in the email so you know which group you're in. I'm going to give you some type of calendar that shows you which day you're assigned to and which frequency you're doing. Okay. And you will have a list of the order that we're going into. And then this you'll have to look through to find out which other issues that you want to address. You got asthma. Here's one for asthma correction. Okay, there's ADD, right? Bach flowers are great. So there's Bach flower ones. There's seriously, there's ones for cancer. Some of these I didn't cross off. Not that because I need those, but just be okay, well, they might come in handy and we might want to run them for just in case, but not anytime soon. And so you can see some of there's a cold and flu one. They have some for deep sleep, for your eyes. Okay, there's essential oil ones. There's some for your kidneys. Okay, a leaky gut. I think they have IBS. I'm not sure. They had something that was like it. But there's inflammation and back pain. Okay, so you're going to have to go through. This is a list that you go through to figure out. Go to his site, which you have in your... So the email that I sent you that was a mile long on page 8 is the link to his site. And I thought I was linking you or giving you these papers, but I didn't. I sent you to my computer, which you can't get to. Okay, so once we get to April 6th, you can start addressing any other issues you want. Again, please be careful or be mindful about how you're going to do that because faster isn't always better, and you want to set your body up with the foundation. And just to go over how you can address these other issues, because obviously I'm running these my spooky machine is going to be tied up until basically the end of July. So if you have other frequencies that are beyond this 48, you have the following options. You have the stickers, which I have a video on. Okay. You have the audio, which again, you can just put it on MP3. You can put it on your phone. Just remember, if you're using your phone, you have to put it on airplane mode. Okay. You can take a foot bath or a full bath. You can imprint some water to drink. Now, and I think I mentioned this elsewhere, there is a lady who got over her 30 years of Lyme's disease in 6 weeks by drinking imprinted water for the Lyme's disease every 3 days. Took 6 weeks and it was gone. Same thing, she had some skin cancer. I don't think it was through her whole body. She just had, some cancer on her skin. It hadn't spread. But still, in 5 to 6 weeks, she had imprinted water for cancer. I don't know if there's a specific one for skin or not, but for cancer. And after 5 to 6 weeks of drinking this every 3 days, the cancer was gone. Okay? So you have options. I mean, if you want to talk to me about what you think is better or not, you can, but really it's what can you do for yourself. I'm just going to give you an example. This was when, like I said, I have a lot of papers. I had done a lot of planning and try to figure out what was going to work best. This was when everybody was going to have a specific day of the week. And everybody, if I was going to say, if you were the person or the groups that were going to be zapped on Sunday and Wednesday, okay, then you would know you're being zapped on those days. And the other days you could do an audio or maybe a foot bath, not all these. It's just I was giving you an example of, you can do other things on different days. Okay. But because you're doing this now, you're going to actually have to look at the calendar, and it's not specific days because goodness gracious, it's going to take us, July is 4 months away. So, so we're skipping the assigned days, but I'm just giving you an idea that, don't do anything extra on the zapping days. But, on those days that you're not being zapped, maybe listen to the audio, maybe do a foot bath. Those aren't going to be as important. I'm not saying they're not important. Again, it's not the more that you do, but definitely if you give it just like one extra, you just wear the sticker for 15, 20, 30, who knows what minutes for one of the frequencies. That's probably just going to like make sure that it kind of gets ingrained in your body. Okay. But once we get past April 6th, then again, you want to address something, even if it's on here. Okay. That is not in orange. You're going to have to use a sticker. Okay. Or you're going to have to find the audio for it. If you have the sticker, you can just wear it, obviously, or you can use those stickers to make a foot bath or imprint water. Okay, so the stickers can be used for making a foot bath or drinking water. If you bought the audio, you can obviously, quote unquote, listen to it. You don't actually have to like listen to it in your ears, but you can again use that audio to imprint water to make a foot bath or to drink the water. So these are versatile and can be used for different ways. If you are confused, please, reach out to me. If you need to have a one-on-one call, you need to like whatever to get this information. Like I said, I know it's a lot. I've been dealing with this literally for weeks now, so I know what I'm doing. It's all in my head, and I understand where I'm going with this. And I know this is like the first time presentation, so you guys are like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. But just know right now you don't actually have to do anything, but get me your fingernail clippings. Please get me those ASAP. If you don't get them to me before, I don't know where did I put the first day of them that we're doing. I don't know where March went. But once we start, let's pretend this was March. If you don't get me your fingernails by that day, you're just going to have to listen to the audio. Okay? Here you can see I started writing down the different audios that I'm personally going to be getting. There's the structured water and the superfoods. I told you guys I'm going to be getting those for everybody because after the 6th, you guys can start that. That is definitely something you're going to want to imprint on water. And you don't need to just drink it every single day, but one day maybe do structured water, another day do superfoods. These are things they said that you have to use long term to start seeing results because it's just very subtle. Okay, but think of all those superfoods like goji berries and blueberries and spirulina and all that stuff. They took the frequencies of those foods and put it into this. The easy water is supposed to take out chlorine, fluoride, bacteria, all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something. I don't think you're supposed to like drink all your whole entire day's worth of water in that way. I will make sure to ask, but at least, if you just drink, 1 glass a day. When I was talking about the foundational, I think sometimes we forget how important the emotional realm is. And I think some of us are probably dealing with that. And they have one. This is for audio because, like I said, anything I wrote down is only in audio. It's not in my spooky. It's called emotional therapy. And it's literally addresses, like he said, if he had to write it all down, about 2 to 3 pages worth of stuff. So he didn't write it all down, but basically think of anything emotional. That is in that. And we're probably going to get that because a lot of physical ailments come or stem from emotional upsets, damages, that kind of stuff. They have one that's called insect repellent. And it's not something that kills insects, but people have said they actually put it up like in their doorway or in certain areas, and they won't have, like, you'll see the bugs, but they won't get near the stickers. So there's a physical detoxification. That's probably going to be something I personally am going to have my family do foot baths and like drink water maybe 1 week a month. There's a vagus nerve correction. There's a lot of issues that come from when your vagus nerve is not maybe damaged, but not flowing correctly, not working correctly. And this was just a start. I've literally been spending hours today doing this, so I was like, that's enough. I'm gonna have to do this another day. I have plenty of time before I have to even start getting these other ones, except for the structured water and the superfoods. But yeah, so if you have any questions, please let me know. I will send you a computerized version of which group you're in. I will send you a computerized version of the dates you're assigned to. I will send you the computerized version of The experimental frequencies, the A through Z, again, they are repeated through here, and that's why I just crossed off a bunch of them. They didn't have a list of just, on the Spooky they have it numerically ordered, but she put it alphabetical, which I think for us is the easiest way to find an issue that we're having. Okay, and then I think that's it. Everything else has their own videos on how to use the stickers and how to imprint water and how to send in your fingernail clipping. So just email me, call me, write me, whatever, if you have any questions.